Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 7/23/2024. And here we are once again. Here we are once more. It's great to be here, and I appreciate everyone that cruised on through. Without you, it'd only be half as much fun as it actually is. And I do appreciate you, each and every one. And if you stay to the end, well, I do ask that you possibly hit that like. And if this is maybe the second time you visited and you stay to the end again, I do ask that you consider to hit that subscribe button. Before we do continue on, I do like to acknowledge those that cruise on through on the live. I would take a moment and say hi. How you doing, Jag? Hope all is well with you and Christina. How you do? Appreciate you cruising on through and dancing with me. All right. Let's start off with Dynamite. They're going to give us Space Ghost Annual issue number 1. All I can really say is, congratulations to David Pepos and crew for not only completing a solid year of Space Ghost, but I do know that this was something that was long overdue in the case of something that was desired to be done by the crew themselves, and especially David. I know I'm not going to mention Captain Planet issue number 2 that also comes out by David Pepos today, which I essentially just did, but it really wouldn't make my most anticipated read, being that I still have yet to read issue number 1, even though it's kind of on my reads, but it's not my most anticipated. It kind of fell down on the wait. That stated, Dynamite Space Ghost Annual issue number 1. I am so happy this is coming out. I'm just really excited for David. That one, this is a project that he's been wanting, just much like, not as much as Captain Planet, even though that was one that he desired to do so heavily. This is one that definitely gravitated to me in the sense that it reminded me of my childhood, and I greatly appreciate the approach that he did. He didn't insult the character in any way. If anything, he modernized it just enough to go ahead and entice and enthrall individuals like myself that not only was asking a little bit more of the character in present day, but also directly attaches itself from yesteryear. And it's just an awesome read. I can't really say enough about it, other than the fact that I'm looking forward to not only reading the annual, but the continuation of the series as a whole. Moving out from now to Sakura and cruise over to Dark Horse, because they're going to give us Usagi Yojimbo 10,000 Plums, issue number 5, which finishes out this miniseries. This was one that I've been anticipating for quite some time in the sense of the miniseries as a whole. I'm a Usagi Yojimbo fan, have been for many years. I was actually going back, and I guess you can start saying that irregularly I was starting making purchase back all the way in 1989. Present day, I could not imagine not making a purchase of any series, anything that comes out from Stan Sakai. Because these series are not only consistent, you know what you're going to get, but the stories themselves, as a core, as a whole, always gives you some form of folk story, lore, style tale that is always unique and different. Overall, the morals, the compass that is being delivered in these stories uniquely are similar, but are always new enough to go ahead and keep you reading because they're always somewhat subtly different than one another and always teaching. It's I guess, refreshing to go ahead and read something that's not only entertaining, but a lot of times you go ahead and get some type of philosophical and introspective meaning and or understanding if you go that deep with something this well done. Stan Sakai keeps killing it with this series, and I can't say enough. Usagi Yojimbo almost made my Blue Light special, though it just missed out just by a little. 10,000 Plums, issue number 5, does finish out the series, but I probably would have to say that I'm looking forward to a new series altogether. Quite so much more. Moving out from Dark Horse, and let's cruise over to Vault. They're going to give us something nice, cool, smutty, and I just can't get enough. Money Shot, Big Bang, issue number 3. I have to admit I haven't quite read issue number 2, even though issue number 1 was. What I'm noticing is that Tim Seeley is really I guess, either paying homage to a lot of the old Cherry Pop Tart Cherry, books by bringing this character into a series, and or it obviously must have influenced them enough to not only bring her into the series now, but probably also is used as a muse to go ahead and start the series as a whole in the beginning. I would love to be able to speak to him about it, and I'm hoping I can. I did just get informed that I did receive a ticket. Kai and I are going to go to San Diego Comic Con this Sunday. Hopefully, I'll see him there. I haven't quite looked to see the schedule if he's there or not. I think he is. Anyways, I do have multiple questions. This is one. I am curious about this. Money Shot is not only one of those smutty books that there's far few of them, but there's really not much. It's a very niche kind of market. And being that it's not something that it's normally accepted, unless it's written really well, in the case of Money Shot it's really not out there in the norm. And this is just one of those things that seems like it's written well enough that there are enough people talking about it that it falls in somehow in the mainstream, whereas many of the old books of yore quite didn't. So I not only applaud Tim Seeley and gang's job on not only bringing something so underground to a surface and almost to the mainstream average individual picking up a book, but to bring it into a level in which it is written so well that it can be accepted by the masses, in which it is risen to this level to where here we are, I think, 4 volumes deep into the series, and it keeps getting better and smuttier. Money Shot Big Bang issue number 3 coming out at 723 to you and me. Let's cruise out the vault from Vault and cruise over to Marvel, and they're going to start us off with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8. I did just read issue, what was that, 3 through 6? So I'm only issue 7 down. I got a massive box down there. Yeah, as you can't see it, that I just ended up getting today. Wow. I will be doing a pre-order unboxing type thing. I did just go through and rebag everything. I'm looking forward to go ahead and jump in issue 7. That's what I'm getting at. So then I can go ahead and read issue 8. This series has been cool. I didn't think they were going to go ahead and bring back Tombstone so early. And being that it's the presentation of not only these characters and the way it's been written so far, all I can say is I can't get enough. This almost made my Blue Light special for the fact that I'm so far behind. And yes, we tend to get like 3 of these issues a month. It's hard to keep up. This is written so well that yes, it just missed out on my Blue Light special. Spider-Man issue number 8 is coming out at 723, and it does sit kind of on the top of the pile, and I don't mean it to do that. It just kind of happens. Just saying. Moving on for Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8, coming out at 723. Let's talk about Doom's Division issue number 5. This finishes out this miniseries. Doom has been really, I'm not a major Doom fan, but it's been winning me over. I almost want to go back in some of the older series of some of the Fantastic Four and some of the old stories that do involve Doom, because I'm not saying I'm becoming a massive fan as much as I do want to get to learn a little bit more deeper understanding about this character as far as the character has been concerned in the present state, bearing all of the Sorcerer Supreme's, let's say, I guess besides just a mantle, he's possessing all the powers and he's starting to have a quiet understanding of them. And that's what's really starting to be disturbing. So he's really starting to wear the Sorcerer Supreme, what should I say, title in the way that it's almost being garnered of old by Doctor Strange. I don't think at this point, if Steven go ahead and gets the power from Asgard, that Doom can possibly challenge him, outside of the fact that also Doom is augmented by his own powers outside of being sorcerer. So I think that's what's going to have to play a part in Stephen Strange's, how should I say, when he goes out and mounts a challenge to be able to steal back a Sorcerer Supreme title. All this, like I said, it's been such a hardcore clash getting back to the Doom Division, we're seeing these type of entities, these side stories that tie in loosely to the story is heavily as they're actually influencing, I believe, the overall, not only the what we're going to see as far as an ending when it comes to issue number 9 or 10, is it? But I believe some of these forces are going to end up turning on Doom, being that they're finding out what Doom's true objective is and how they're being used and utilized to overall obtain his personal objective, and not necessarily for the namesake of what he's been stating, which is all the overall good for not necessarily a nation, but the world. Tying it back into Doom Division number 5 is one of the main stories that we've been seeing that come to the surface. And I do believe that when we get here, we're going to see one of the first instances of where we're going to mount some type of, I'm not necessarily saying a mutiny, but something is going to quite resemble one. Just saying. Let's move on from Doom Division and cruise over to Gwenpool, issue number 3. Yo, Agu, how you do? Hope all is well with you. Gwenpool has been really, is another one I almost made my most anticipated read. Issue number 2 was really fun. It's really awesome. I'm liking the depth of what this is mounting to. I'm still kind of blown away of the character that they go ahead and bring back. This is not the Mary Jane that we knew. Far from it. And now that she's just one of the weapon projects, yeah, she's a badass. And I'm really curious of how this is going to, I have no expectations. I'm not trying to in any way have pre-expectations, not only of what I believe the story should do, but where I believe this character should go. I'm just throwing on some seatbelts and just going for the ride. I may end up having to put on a crash test dummy outfit because it seems like there's going to be a heavy impact when we get to the end of this series. Bringing back a character like they did in any time period, especially one that holds such gravity and holds near and dear to a lot of hardcore Spider-Man fans, that it's going to be interesting how this not only character develops, but how this series ends, and then the future of this character, because wow, they took a lot of balls. I'm digging Gwenpool. I hope you are too. Issue number 3 is coming out to not only me, but you on 7/23/2025. Let's cruise out from the Gwenpool scene and cruise over to our last Marvel book, Spider-Verse versus Venomverse, issue number 3. I'm also liking how this is working out. The fact that we're having some insider working to go ahead and hopefully work together to go ahead and prevent a mass destruction on either side of either Symbiote or the Spider-Verse in its entirety is just too much to bear, or too much to even make consideration. I don't even know why that they decided to go ahead and have this war in the beginning. I get it. They're deciding that one has to live without the other, or they both will not exist. But damn, really? That's the gravity of the situation. It's cool to see how this story is playing out, because I don't know. We come to these type of stories before, but the fact that we're coming up with all these new characters, how they're being utilized, and then we're having all these heroes on both sides, anti-heroes, heroes against their will, however you want to put it. These chosen few are the ones that are going to go ahead and not only fight for their own existence and their world's existence, but to, I guess, further the existence and understanding of their selves and their world, being that the other one's going to supposedly disappear. I'm really liking to see how this is turning out, and being that it's only issue number 3, we still have a whole lot of more development to go. Moving off from the Spider-Verse versus Venomverse, cruising out from Marvel, cruising over to IDW. Let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 11. Jason Aaron is just killing it. I'm just saying, he's doing such a wonderful job on this series. I've always enjoyed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I just recently posted something on my shorts with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that I got signed not only to recently, but I ended up buying that book some 5-6 years ago. that I can't say I'm a hardcore fan as much as I've been a long-term one. And to see something that not only, in my opinion, is truly following the footsteps of what I believe Laird and Niesman really were trying to do way back in the day, to show something with a lot of heart, something that every time you end up turning a page that you felt for these individuals. The fact that they were not human, that they're doing this anamorphic thing, but they're also, against their will, these mutated individuals having to deal with the things that they do, especially the way that they're written in the present day context, and having to deal with their own mental anguishes, their own present day, trials and tribulations. This story rocks. It's amazing. Even if you're not a hardcore Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, even if you knew nothing about this, I would recommend this series to tell someone, hey, look, I recommend the story. It just so happens to have a name that you're familiar with, but try to abandon anything that you have preconceived in your mind about this series and just read it. Just from the beginning, read this. And I'm sure anyone that enjoys, something of the type, anything that's definitely, it's definitely shareable. There's a lot of mental stuff going on there. But beyond that, again, it goes back to the introspection. It goes back to understanding how these characters are not only learning a lot about themselves and each other, but how to work with themselves, which is a reflection on not only us as readers and how we're dealing with our own lives and stuff that's going on with it, but how sometimes we project these things onto others, which you see them doing on one another until they themselves look at themselves in the mirror and go, holy shit, all this time I've been looking at you in this way of being crazy, but in no way have I looking at myself as thinking that I'm sane. I know the two doesn't seem like they correlate, but they do, and the series brings things like that out so well that it's so poetic that Jason is just killing it. It's written well. It's drawn well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just a great series right now, and I highly recommend it. So issue 11, yeah, it was another one who just missed my Blue Light special. This week's Blue Light special was very difficult, but yeah, you'll see why I've been picked it. So hey, let's cruise out from that IDW. Cruise over to our last publisher, Image. Now, I've been saying for the past 3 years that Image, you'll see them coming steadily, moving out with a lot more series, a lot more solid universes that are coming out, well-written ones too, not just stuff thrown out there to go, okay, we're going to now launch a bunch of stuff for cash grab. No, there are so many good series out there revolving around solid universes. Let's get into some books, and I'm sure I'll touch on some. Starting out with Department of Truth, issue number 32. Man, James has been doing a wonderful job on this series. At first, I had no idea what was going on. Now I can definitely say I don't really know what's going on. What I do know is, as a series that thrives on conspiracy theories, that shows you some of the ancient Chinese ideas of, you go ahead and get enough people to think about something, you can go ahead and manifest that to be true, even if that something is not necessarily something that you want on a positive. We've seen this series start with just a simple conceptual idea of the basis in which I just stated, and it grow into something significantly more. Initially it was just a neat concept, but what we're getting now is it's not only touching on some of the present day things that we're dealing with the present administration. I'm not saying good or bad, but what we're seeing is ideas and things that we thought we would never see. And the series does touch on those ideas, both as a past and a present idea. And in the way it's written, it does seem to me that James Tynion, this fine gentleman, had an idea, and it had some type of precog, of what was transpiring. And it was just seemed like he was writing for the future as he was writing this in the past. And some of this thing that he was writing at the time are presently happening. And the beauty is about the story is it it started off as such outlandish ideas, and now that some of these ideas are coming true, it shows, I guess, some ability to go ahead and find some of it plausible. As far fetched as some of these ideas are, to go ahead and garner some, I don't know, truth behind obvious fallacies that we've been reading, not only in this book, but what we're seeing in the media. And it's just amazing on how the two sometimes either correlates or how they differ or how they mirror or, oh my God. Department of Truth, I'm not saying I recommend it for just everybody, but it is a wonderful read for those of us that want to delve into conspiracy ideas. And doesn't matter what side of any type of political realm that you play on, it plays with social ideas and political ideas that have not only been thought of and played with for the past couple thousand years, but are presently still actively playing out today. And I think that's what's interesting about with the story of Department of Truth is you don't want a lot of this. It's kind of like Black Mirror. You don't want a lot of this stuff to play out to be true, even though some of it is. And it's so interesting to see how the approach, which is another thing I'd love to hit James up about on this series, is where overall, where is he going? Because maybe we can figure out what's going on now. Department of Truth 32 coming out at 7/23. I've really been enjoying this series, and I do kind of recommend it just for that special individual that is really into that conspiracy theory kind of stuff. It has interesting art, which is also by Simmons, and it's not for everybody. It's definitely for me. I like the darkness, I like the vagueness, and I like just like the way the story is written, it allows you to fill in the gaps. So it's definitely wonderful. Moving on from Department of Truth, and let's cruise over to Pharaoh, issue number 15. This has been Tony Fleeks is just ripping my heart out with this series. I dig this, and I can see how this can go on forever, and I sure hope it does. This is an amazing series about cats. They're just domesticated cats. They're trying to get home, find out when they get home, their home's gone as far as their owners are concerned. The whole city's gone to shit. Everything is feral. Everything is rabid. They even get taken in by this like grandmother type cat lady thing. And oh, wow, that turned out to be nasty hell. They're now in some refuge at some type of pet overall like pet city type place. Basically, it's a warehouse full of food and everything, but they can't even get to it. And I don't even think they even know what's really inside. This is Walking Dead meets just like a Disney Aristocats. It is amazingly drawn. It is amazingly told. It is heart-wrenching. I look forward to every issue, and damn it, issue number 15 is just, I know it's only the surface of what we got to experience, and my heart just seems like every time I read this seems like it's just trampled, stomped on, thrown around, used as bait, and thrown back in my chest when done, and I can't get enough. So Feral issue number 15 is going to be hot in my hands quite soon. Moving on from Feral, let's cruise over to a wonderful series, which is Geiger, issue number 16. This is part of that universe that I was talking about. Geiger, Rook, all this. Junkyard Joe is another one of those characters that I really, truly feel for every time I read anything about it. Yeah, Geiger issue number 16, where the development and where we're at with this glowing woman seems to be not quite the individual she initially presented herself to be. Her overall objectives and goals seems like she just wants to go ahead and set off a nuke. I'm not quite certain why, but anybody that wants to set off a nuke, I'm not usually too good with. I'm just saying. I don't care how glowy you are and sparkly. It doesn't work for me. I'm just saying. Geiger issue number 16. This series has been wonderful. It's been awesome. Looking forward to the series. I don't watch much TV, but dang, I'll buy whatever it has to take to go ahead and watch this on the screen because wow, as a series, this is one of my favorites. Just saying. Let's move out from the Geiger place and just cruise over to The Seasons issue number 6. Rick Remender's just killing it with this. He did a little personal thing on, I think it was Instagram and a couple other like TikTok talky things, saying where he's at in his mental state is considerably better than it's ever been before. In my opinion, and he's riding between grommets, this. I think there's something supposed to come out in a few months that it seems like he's able to keep everything together. He's able to keep schedules going on. It seems like he's more happier, and he's been so many years. The series seems very cohesive as far as the seasons is concerned. The way it initially presented itself was just kind of really fantasy and far-fetched, so outlandish. I was just having difficulty grasping on to the overall ideas and trying to maintain a willingness to pursue the series, because after issue 3, I was just really questioning him. Is this worth the ride? By the time I read issue number 5, which was just recently, I'd have to say, what, day before yesterday? I went, okay. It all fell together for me. I'm in. I can't wait to read issue number 6. It seems like it's really tying all the issue 1, 2, and 3 seemed like it was a lot of setup. I was following along, but just barely. It was Rick, you're asking a lot of me, just me. It was difficult. 4 seemed like I seen where you're going, and after I read 5, I went, I get it, and I'm loving it. I can't wait for issue number 6. I can't wait for this little aspect of the arc to finish out, because I am looking forward to rereading this. This is a great, neat little fantasy read. It's almost, I'm not certain if it's murder going on, but definitely a disappearance of a few of her siblings, and she has to be a detective in a weird fantasy world that I'm still trying to grasp what kind of place I'm in. So I really finally and truly enjoying the seasons for not only how it's being presented, but allowing me to finally not only always just barely hold on, but to finally grasp everything that you're truly trying to convey. I get it, I enjoy it, and I can't get enough of it now. So I'm looking forward to issue number 6, the seasons, coming out on 7/23/2025. Let's move on from that, and let's talk about Void Rivals. Another one of those series that I was talking about the universe being so awesome. Between G.I. Joe and Transformers, Void Rivals finishes out this, I don't know what you want to call it, a trinity of a series that is just nothing short of awesome. This is not the Transformers of your youth, definitely not mine, or the G.I. Joe. Considerably more hardcore and vastly more expansive than anything we've ever gotten before. Void Rivals, in my opinion, is not only a standalone story, but it's a story in which that needs to be read if you're reading any one of those other two, Transformers or G.I. Joe. It's essential, in my opinion, only because you're going to have a greater appreciation and understanding of where these beings that you're seeing come from, how they truly are built, what their overall objective was when they got to us, and what kind of battles and what kind of pursuits and what kind of overall wars are going to beyond anything that we're dealing with here on the earth. Void Rivals really reflects the vastness beyond the battles that we're receiving when we read either G.I. Joe or the Transformers, because we're only getting them terrestrially speaking. When we get these battles or when we get these stories that are outside, meaning through Void Rivals, which issue 21 comes out tomorrow, we're getting that massive, vast expansiveness that goes beyond anything we're reading from the other two. It's amazing, in my opinion, that how well and how it really draws in an understanding of definitely the Transformers when you read Void Rivals, on how much it seems like we are missing in all those other series that we got from the Transformers. I'm digging Void Rivals. This was the first series that came out that introduced this whole Transformers G.I. Joe Energon verse universe And I really can't get enough of it. However, the one that really just blew past everybody was this week's Blue Light Special. Exquisite Corpses is just nothing short of, oh my God. Are you kidding me? You take a group of individuals, you drop them down into a city, some kind of not, vastly populated small town, I should say, not necessarily city. You cordon it off, you go ahead and evacuate all individuals that would definitely significantly be missed as far as media, mayors, representatives that would be significantly missed. You coordinate this area off. You go ahead and drop in family representatives of families that are fighting for the right to go ahead and kind of rule not only the United States, but aspects of the world. And they get that control for the next, if I recall, 5 years. This happens once every 5 years on kind of appropriate holiday on Halloween. And plain townsfolk have no idea. There are points that are tallied up for just innocents that are killed, but the overall objective is last individual standing that represents the family, seizes the control of the United States. And as I made mention, some aspects outside of for the next 5 years. This is a scary thought. It's a beautiful concept. It's a scary and intriguing idea that is, when it was first presented, was seemingly cool. But when it came beyond that, it was then shown that these poly bags are also equipped with playing cards that will then be able to allow you to play the story out in different ways. Well, now you got something a little bit different. That's beyond, in my opinion, just gimmick. It's not just a blind bag. It's a blind game. Blind story. It's a bitchin' one at that. All I'm saying is the overall marketing in the story, the overall story, the overall marketing, the game. I don't know, everything about this thing has just got me in. I'm all in. I'm looking forward to every issue coming out from Exquisite Corpses. I'm hoping again that I might be able to meet James, speak to him about this, Department of Truth. God, nice house on the lake by the sea. There's so many of those things that I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him and speaking to him. But this series, in my opinion, is vastly not only different than anything he's ever delivered before, but something that I'm in awe. To all those that came in, I appreciate you. You all go. Seriously. Christina, as always, I appreciate you hanging out and dancing with me. Jag, dude, appreciate you. Seriously. All those that cruise on through on the rewind, I appreciate you. If you hung out until the end, and if you're not already, I ask of you, if you wouldn't please hit that like, possibly subscribe. And until next time, that's it for me. Entropy. Have a good night.